Coppell, an affluent community with good schools, plenty of Christians, and a strong sense of Southern pride. The ultimate destination for the American dream. But what's really going on in Coppell? What about its neighboring towns? Are people aware this is right in their backyard? Chesapeake is a natural gas drilling company that was formed in 1989 and since has become the second largest producer of natural gas. They are the most active driller of new wells found in the United States, and the company's drilling success rate reached 98% in 2010. Their goal is to generate industry-leading shareholder returns by developing and executing on a distinctive business strategy that is focused exclusively on exploring and producing unconventional natural gas and oil in the U.S. Natural gas is clean, affordable, abundant in America, and Chesapeake believes that natural gas will continue to gain market share in the U.S. and around the world for years to come because of its affordability and cleanliness. On February 15th, the Coppell City Council approved 6 new drilling permits at the Fellowship Pad site. Chesapeake Energy Corporation's Fellowship Pad site is located on Fellowship Church property near the intersection of Creekview Drive and South Royal Lane. Chesapeake has been working closely with the City of Coppell to make sure operations are safe and unobtrusive as possible.
I am Marcia Tennell. I am on City Council in the City of Coppell, Place 4, and right now I am Mayor Pro Tem. I voted against it. It just came forward, and I think some communities are rethinking the whole, the windfall of money that you get for natural gas may not be worth the environmental or the long-term impact. So there's some studies out there that I think maybe we should wait for before we go any further with it. We have proponents on both sides. We have people that think you have a right to do whatever you want to with your land, and that the government shouldn't step in. And then I think especially people that live close to the wells, they have the most concerns because it's adjacent to their property, it's closest to where they're trying to raise their families, and they have concerns. But I think people are starting to maybe take a second look because what you hear is this is the cleanest energy. It's a lot cleaner to burn than other types of energy, whether it's oil or coal, and there are other ways to measure that cleanliness, so to speak. Whether it's the chemicals they're putting in when they initially frack the well, whether it's the trucks that are running that the wear and tear on roads and the diesel and all of that. So there's some other impacts too.
Such a suburban location is atypical for a natural gas site, yet we sit upon a mountain of Barnett shale. Perhaps Coppell as a town will become known not only for athletes, arts, and education, but also as a leader in the future of natural gas. One of the major concerns about Chesapeake's drilling in Coppell is the potential effects on water. Luckily for residents of Coppell, our drinking water comes from the city of Dallas rather than a residential well. This way, Coppell citizens can avoid being able to light their water on fire, like many unfortunate cities that have experienced problems with flammable drinking water due to natural gas drilling. According to TCU geologist Ken Morgan, there's little chance of contamination in the Texas Barnett Shale because the gas is a mile below the aquifer, separated by impermeable rock. Of the almost 14,000 wells just in the Fort Worth area, which includes Coppell, Morgan says we've had very few documented and proven cases of contamination of surface water. However, UTA hydrologist Max Hugh points out that it could take decades for a problem to show up and for an aquifer to purge the pollution, so monitoring wells is a necessary safeguard. We turn to the documentary Fracking Hell, The Untold Story to get a look at a city not quite as lucky as Coppell, but one we could possibly relate with in the future if tactics aren't kept safe.
But in the rush to drill, concerns about the potential risks of fracking are being swept aside.
When I first heard about shale drilling, it sounded like a pretty good idea. The thing that really got me interested and concerned was I found out that under the proposed regulations for New York State, you could drill a gas well 150 feet from this river or the lake that feeds it, which is the water source for this village. And That's just insane.
One of the first problems observed in communities close to intensive fracking sites has been the contamination of domestic water supplies. The ecologist spoke to families who have been unable to drink water from the tap since the gas companies started fracking on land close to their homes.
And I didn't tell Ronnie anything about it until probably a couple days later because it got worse. I thought maybe this will go away. I don't know what it is, but it didn't. And I said to him, I said, you know, we have a problem with our water.
Water is a commodity. You might not think it is when you have it and it's good, but when you lose it, it's gone. You'll never get it back. Like we would take a glass of water out of the tap and it would have like an oil base on the top. You could smell it. It would smell like diesel fuel or some kind of oil thing. You know, I used to go to my sink and get a glass of water. I can't do that anymore. I have to put lotion on my hands 3 times a day from using the water. Even wash my dishes or wash my clothes or anything.
What does Chesapeake have to say about their contamination claims? After they turned down a personal interview, we turned to a promotional video released by the company to explain how they protect waterways.
Utilizing heavy-duty industrial-strength drill bits, a typical well is drilled in several stages, starting with a large diameter drill bit and then successively smaller drill bits as the drilling is advanced. After drilling each portion of the well, nested steel protective casing is cemented into place. This will protect groundwater and maintain the integrity of the well. Initially, and prior to moving in the drilling rig, a large diameter hole is drilled for the first 50 to 80 feet. Conductor casing is then cemented into place, stabilizing the ground around the drilling rig and wellhead, and isolating the well from most private water wells.
This is Kevin Adkins, and I partner with another gentleman in a oil and gas venture called South Rock Energy. You know, a lot of the other criticism, or you know, these things are kind of, you know, with the advent of the internet and blogging and all these people who can get on the internet and say anything they want to say without, and nobody really checks their credentials or to figure out if they know what they're talking about. And there's a lot of stuff out there about, oh, these wells are causing earthquakes. The fact of the matter is, you know, earthquakes happen thousands and thousands and thousands of feet below anything that, you know, that these drilling activities, you know, way farther below anything that happens with drilling. And quite frankly, the water supply that everybody's worried about is, you know, hundreds to, you know, a couple of thousand feet maybe at the most, whereas, you know, these horizontal drilling activities are going on at 10 to 15,000 feet below. So they bypass the water, you know, the water table quickly in the drilling, and they do everything to protect that water table as they're passing through that zone.
The University of Texas at Austin just released a study in mid-February which describes the effects of hydraulic fracturing on the groundwater supply. According to the study, which was published in the Houston Business Journal, the hydraulic fracturing of shale formations to develop natural gas has no direct connection to groundwater contamination. This recent study arrives just ahead of the anxiously anticipated study done by the EPA, which has yet to be released. However, natural gas companies can breathe a sigh of relief as one of the largest complaints against the industry, the contamination of water tables, has been proven not to be a problem by one of the top public universities in the country. However, the study does consent that many problems blamed on hydraulic fracturing are related to processes common to all oil and gas drilling operations, such as casing failures or poor cement jobs. While this revelation may calm the fears of many who suspect that their water supply has been contaminated by gas leaking up from the bottom of the shale through the water tables, the problems of human error continue to exist. However, these problems are not unique to hydraulic fracturing and are a realized part of the natural gas and oil industries. 3 areas of the country were examined in this extensive study: the Barnett Shale in North Texas, the Marcellus Shale in Pennsylvania, New York, and portions of Appalachia, and the Haynesville Shale in western Louisiana and northeast Texas. With research conducted right here in the North Texas area, perhaps residents of Coppell will begin to feel more safe about the natural gas drilling conducted by the Chesapeake Energy Company.